Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Central on EzeSportsTV. We are back again to talk football. I'm Kester, the anchor of the show. I have Harrison with me, and today we'll be talking about the FA Cup final between Chelsea and Liverpool at Wembley Stadium. Welcome to the show, Harrison.
Thank you so much, Kesta.
Yeah, we are doing something different today. A big one at that FA Cup final day, Chelsea versus Liverpool. We've seen this match 3 times this season, 2 times in the league, 2-2 draw, between both sides, both home and away. Of course, in the Carabao Cup final, it also ended in a draw after 120 minutes between Chelsea and Liverpool. And it took 22 penalties for Liverpool to win that one, Carabao Cup. Today is the FA Cup final. Both teams are gunning, for the oldest trophy in world football. I mean, what a day we have in our hands.
Well, of course, it's always nice to, look forward to cup finals. But when you talk about the FA Cup, the oldest competition as far as football is concerned in the whole wide world, and it comes with a lot of buzz and excitement. And of course, considering the caliber of the teams participating in this season's FA Cup, Chelsea, of course, they just recently dethroned European champions. Of course, they are still the European champions until the final Champions League finals. And of course, Liverpool currently playing one of the best football in the world. Like you rightly said, the champions of the League Cup, currently in the Champions League finals, still losing hope that if maybe City sleeps and they catch up with City as far as the Premier League is concerned. So that shows you the caliber of the teams in this particular finals today. It's been a long time since we saw teams of this level, playing in the FA Cup finals, and this year we're having that. So it's of course an exciting thing to be looking forward to it.
Chelsea have been involved in the past, I think, 4 FA Cup final in 5 years now. They've become a regular in making it to Wembley at the end of every season. And I think the last three, they've lost the last 3 finals they participated in the FA Cup. And Thomas Tuchel was at the end of affairs the last time they lost to Leicester City right there at Wembley last season. He wants to win today. I mean, Chelsea have had their ups and downs this season. Started the league this season very well. At the point they dropped form. They couldn't continue with the same momentum with Manchester City and Liverpool in the league. Of course, they did very well for themselves, making it to the final of the League Cup that they lost to Liverpool. Of course, also getting to the semi-finals. I mean, the quarterfinals of the Champions League, getting knocked out by Real Madrid side. I mean, on their part, Chelsea, how would you judge their season so far? Would you say they have had a fair season, even though a lot of people expected them to challenge for the trophy? I mean, challenge for many trophies. They won the Champions League last season. At the start of this season, they won the Super Cup. Went out there and won the World Club competition with the world champions right now. Of course, got themselves into the League Cup final. They are in the FA Cup final, even though they're nowhere near the Manchester City and Liverpool in the league. Or how would you rate Chelsea's season so far?
Well, Chelsea, there's been a lot of issues around the club. Of course, since the Russian-Ukraine war broke out, there's been a lot of sanctions around Chelsea because of Roman Abramovich's involvement with the Russian president. And I think this whole uncertainty around that team have actually affected the whole Chelsea team and their performance over the season. I think before then we knew how Chelsea were, going on all fronts, trying to challenge for all titles. Even with all that has happened, they are still right there in the third place. Trying to make sure that they cement their place and make sure that they play Champions League football next season. They were at the League Cup finals, like you said, losing to Liverpool in the manner they lost. I mean, it was not shameful. The game ended nil-nil until 120 minutes. It took only a penalty, and of course, Kepa not converting his own kick for Chelsea to lose that one. They got to the Champions League semi-finals. Not everybody, Champions League quarterfinals rather, getting knocked out by Real Madrid, and of course, they are right here in the FA Cup finals. Of course, everybody expected them to challenge, considering the kind of season they had last season, winning the Champions League finals, and of course losing the FA Cup finals to Leicester City. Um, Getting Romelu Lukaku, you would actually expect that this is the season Chelsea will go for the league again. But we've seen how the season have turned out for them. I wouldn't say Chelsea have failed the season, considering all that has happened. A lot of teams will go through what Chelsea went through this season, and they won't even be anywhere close to the Champions League spot. But we've seen Chelsea maintain that third spot, regardless of all that has happened. We've seen Chelsea not losing so many games. I mean, yes, they've had losses here and there, but they've had to draw more games more than they've lost, and I think that is why they are where they are at the moment. But when you sum up their season and when you look at all that has happened within the team, I wouldn't say Chelsea have actually had a poor season. I would really, really, commend them for having, having to put all that aside and still continue to play and perform to challenge and make sure that they secure a Champions League spot for themselves, and of course, have an opportunity to a title today.
Very big opportunity for them for a title to add to the ones they had towards the tail of last season, of course, at the start of the current season, Chelsea. And for Liverpool, there have been a lot of talk about the possibility of a quadruple. It's never happened in English football before. That's an opportunity for Liverpool to do this season. But, I mean, as it stands now, they are 3 points behind Manchester City in the Premier League with 7 goals also in favor of Manchester City on top of Liverpool. It means that even if Manchester City loses one game, it will still be difficult. I mean, in the remainder of the two games, it will still be difficult for Liverpool to win the Premier League as it stands now, considering the form of Manchester City, the way they've responded to that loss to Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League. And then, of course, Liverpool, they are facing Chelsea today in the FA Cup final. If they lose today, they will be left with just the opportunity of winning the Champions League to add to the League Cup they already have. And there's also a possibility of losing that one against a Real Madrid side that will know how good they are in that competition, Champions League, knocking out the teams they knocked out, the PSGs, the Chelseas, the Manchester Cities. Of course, they have the capacity and ability to win a Liverpool side. So could it turn from being one of the um, best season for Liverpool in terms of expectation to actually a season that have underperformed in terms of achievements, as a matter of fact, because Liverpool, they have had a very good season, but they need to win these trophies to, complete what was expected of them. How do you think Liverpool feels right now, as a team?
Well, I think the Liverpool side are well experienced side, of course, with the coach. He's been there for 6 years and he's been able to put this team together and take them to the level where they are at the moment and the level they're performing at the moment. I think nobody actually expected this from Liverpool towards when the season just started. But due to the performances they've put out this season, challenging on all titles, we've never seen this kind of a thing before. A team gunning for the quadruple, trying to see if it is possible for them to get it. They've actually used their performance this season to put that expectation in us, the spectators, now hoping and thinking that, okay, let's see if Liverpool can actually do this. When the season was starting, no one expected them to do what they're doing. So I know they will be disappointed, of course, if they don't get to win these titles, especially the FA Cup and the Champions League. The league is already looking like it's slipping away from them. 4 points from City is enough for them to secure the league, regardless of what Liverpool does with their remaining two games. But then, of course, at the end of the day, what that matters is how many titles you've won. But at the same time, when you look at a team like Manchester United, you've seen the fans clamoring for good football. At some point, they felt like they don't just want to win titles; they want to play good football. And when you look at a team like Liverpool, they give you good football, they win titles. I think Liverpool, regardless of what happened at the end of the season, if it doesn't go their way, they will be disappointed in themselves. But at the end of the day, they will also look at themselves and pat themselves on the back, like we did well. We get this performance to our fans. And as much as losing the title, nobody will remember you for not winning it. But with the kind of season Liverpool are having, they stand a very good chance of winning the FA Cup against Chelsea. They also stand a very good chance of winning the Champions League against Real Madrid. I am not saying too much about the league because it's already looking like they've lost that one. But with these two games, the FA Cup finals and of course the Champions League final is in their hand. They make that. I mean, it's left for them to either lose it or win it.
I mean, it's looking very interesting. We're talking about the English size. We talk about Manchester City also making it to the semi-final of the Champions League. It was going to look like a lot of people expected or were hoping to have another English final between Liverpool and Manchester City, just as we had Chelsea against Manchester City last season. But we have that Real Madrid side, a very big side, a very experienced side as far as Champions League is concerned, going to be facing Liverpool. And then, I mean, I want to ask you this question, Harrison. Would you rather be a Manchester City side getting knocked out of the semi-final of Champions League and going ahead to win the league, or a Liverpool side that were expected to win the quadruple and then making the semi-final of Champions League, final of the FA Cup, winning the League Cup already, very close to winning the Premier League, and at the end of the day, you end the season with just the League Cup? What team would you rather be, Manchester City or Liverpool?
Well, I would rather be Manchester City, but then I think I shouldn't be bringing City into the conversation in the sense that we're talking about a cup final, and of course, City aren't here. There's a reason why we're talking about Liverpool because of the kind of performance they put out, and of course, they are here, to challenge. Yeah, City look more guaranteed of finishing the league with a reasonable title this season more than Liverpool are. But I think football, as we've seen over time, is a one step at a time thing. I mean, we will wait to see what Liverpool will do at the end of the season to know if I would rather be a City fan or a Liverpool fan.
I ask that question because we can agree that Liverpool have performed so wonderfully well this season, just like Manchester City. Best two teams as far as I'm concerned in the world football. Manchester City to me the best, followed by Liverpool. And then we are waiting for the achievements now to back up those points and performances and all that. And of course, there's a chance for Liverpool to still win the treble even if they lose the league to Manchester City. What the question was, in the case they don't win this trophy, because we have expected a lot from them, to right now, a lot of people expect them to win Chelsea. They are the favorite to win Chelsea, considering the forms for both sides. Of course, against the Real Madrid side, a lot of people also is seeking Liverpool to be very strong against Real Madrid in the final of Champions League and win that one. But you're going to be seeing that match between Liverpool and Chelsea at Wembley, 4:45 p.m. Nigerian time. That one will kickstart. Of course, it's a very big day as far as English football is concerned. FA Cup final between Liverpool and Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel had been here before last season, losing against Leicester City in the FA Cup final. Liverpool on the other side have not played the FA Cup final since 2006. I think the last time they were. No, the last time they won the FA Cup was actually in 2006. Since then, they have been in the final against Chelsea. I think in 2012 they lost that one against Chelsea, and it's a repeat of that game today. I mean, how do you see Liverpool filing out today, having in mind that there's still a possibility of catching up with Manchester City in the league, and also having the eye on the Champions League final that will be coming up later this month? How do you think they will approach this game, knowing that they're facing a very good side in Chelsea?
Well, I've seen Liverpool play over the season. They approach each game just like professionals, one game at a time. I mean, they don't go into this game thinking about the Champions League finals. They don't come into this game thinking about the remaining two Premier League games and what Manchester City will do tomorrow against West Ham. They're coming into this game 100% thinking about this game as well as Chelsea. I mean, they know that if you don't give 100%, I mean, they will get punished regardless of the team. And then not to talk about when you're playing a team like Chelsea. So they understand that these are professionals who've played at the highest level. You can account one or two additions to that Liverpool squad, but 80% of that squad were still together when they won the Champions League the last time out. So they understand what it takes, to play in a cup finals. And they know that coming into this game, if you don't give 100%, then chances of you not getting it is there. So they will come into this game not thinking about the Champions League, not thinking about the Premier League, but all about the FA Cup.
Fabinho is the only player out from Liverpool squad. He's not going to be in this match. Chelsea is still looking at the fitness of Kovacic. He limped off from their last league match against Leeds United. Of course, there's also a question about N'Golo Kante if he's going to be fit for the game, even though they're in the squad. But Ben Chilwell, Hudson-Odoi remain out, totally out of the game. I mean, Chelsea have had these one or two injury concerns. Do you think he has played a part in how they have performed this season? Missing out on some key players, especially and in key moments of the season where they need them the most. I mean, do you see any of the absent or suspected or likely absentee affecting the game today?
Of course, I mean, when you have a player like N'Golo Kante and Kovacic in your team and they are not participating not because the coach didn't select them but because they are not fit, You know that if these two players are fit, at least one of them will make the team that will start today. And Fabinho for Liverpool, an important player who plays every important game for them. He sits at the base of that midfield and gives us players like Thiago and Henderson the opportunity to move out. Of course, when such players don't play, you're definitely going to miss them. But then this is where a top team the definition of top team comes into play. The reason why you're regarded as a top team is even when you're missing your most important personnel, you have other people who can come in their position and play. We've seen Henderson play in that particular position for Liverpool. He's not as fantastic as Fabinho would be, but due to the kind of team that Liverpool are, you see him performing there and he's playing well. As well as Chelsea, they have a lot of people to fill in. Of course, the teams will miss these guys, but it shouldn't be an excuse.
I mean, there is still a possibility of Kante and Kovacic being involved, even though they are being assessed at the moment. You can also be sure that the African stars will fully participate in this one. Mendy will always be there for Chelsea in the goal post. Of course, Salah and Mane always playmakers for Liverpool side. You still have Keita there, right there. Of course, Matip in defense for Liverpool. I mean, what a game we have in Harrison. A team we definitely win today, just as we had in the League Cup final, the Carabao Cup final between Liverpool and Chelsea. Liverpool winning that one after 22 penalties, 120 minutes full-time draw, and then 22 penalties. Before the last kick from Kepa, gave the trophy to Liverpool. How do you see this game turning out today? What will be your prediction in this game between Liverpool and Chelsea? Remember, the three games that played this season have ended in draws. Both home and away in the league, 2-2 draws, 2-2 scoreline draws, both home and away, and then the goalless draw in the League Cup for 120 minutes match after full time ended in a draw. Of course, the extra time also ended in a draw. How do you predict this game between these two sides that seems to have very little to separate them head to head this season?
Well, the game, in as much as Liverpool and Chelsea were able to win their last few games in the Premier League, we've seen them not performing at the highest level as they have actually started the year. Though not in a bad way, not they've not lost games, but when you look at them and compare to their performances, the performances they've shown at the beginning of the year, you see a little bit of decline. But this is still Liverpool, this is still Chelsea. Even when they don't play too well, they give you all 3 points and score the necessary goals. We saw Liverpool in their last game winning 2-1. It was difficult for them, but they managed to get that victory and keep it going. Coming into this game, it is going to be a tough one, regardless of form.
Sorry, no, so before you continue with your prediction, sorry, Harrison. I mean, we need to look at the players also. There's Lukaku, have seems to be a player that is bouncing back with his the kind of play he's putting up in recent game for Chelsea. His movement in the last game was top notch. A lot of people commended him, of course, and the coach. It seems there's a very big intentional. I mean, the coach is becoming very intentional about Lukaku in trying to help him rediscover his form and all that. You see Lukaku starting today's game or Kai Havertz. Coach have always said that there's always a disadvantage when you start both of them together. So likely you're going to be having one of them. With the performance of Lukaku in the last two games, scoring 3 goals in his last 2 games, you see him starting ahead of Kai Havertz today for Chelsea.
Well, since Tuchel took over Chelsea, there's a particular thing that have actually worked for him. That is playing Havertz in final in cup games. He has actually proven to be a cup game player, always scoring decisive goals and important goals for the side. Romelu Lukaku, on the other hand, 2 games in a row, two good performance. I think it will be a tough one for Thomas Tuchel. But considering what he has said again about Lukaku in recent time, and of course, saying that Lukaku will be with Chelsea next season, and he hoped that he would get a lot of playing time. Yeah, in his last game, that particular goal he scored, I will tell you that against a defense like Liverpool, it might be so difficult for him to actually get that goal. But we saw the movement, the positioning of Lukaku. These were the things lacking from him over the season, but we saw it in that particular game. Of course, in the game before that one. It's going to be a tough one today. To be honest, I don't know who he would come up with, but I think he would go with Lukaku considering his goal scoring from at the moment. And then going to my prediction, I would say it's going to be a 1-1 draw for full time. It's going to be a tough one, really. I mean, Chelsea will be coming out all out. This is their only hope to getting a title. And Liverpool, just like we discussed, they have it at the back of their mind that there's a possibility that they will lose the Champions League final as well as the Premier League. So let's give it all for this one. Let's get this one first, then we can think about the Champions League. So I'm predicting a 1-1 draw.
So what happens from
What happens from there? I think Liverpool will take the day.
there? For Harrison, it will always be Liverpool for Harrison, and we are going to be seeing that game 4:45 p.m. Nigerian time. Wembley Stadium is the destination. Liverpool against Chelsea, FA Cup final, the oldest competition in world football. What a season we are having between these two sides, competing on all the domestic cup this season. Is going to be going to either Liverpool, both of them, or a share between Liverpool and Chelsea. I mean, it's still Sports Central on EzeSportsTV. It's always good to talk sports with Harrison. Thank you for always coming around.
Thank you so much, Kesta.
I mean, what a game we have in our hand. The lineup is not yet out because a lot of predictions of who starts today. We expect the regular players on both sides, one or two changes. They are the two coaches are very brilliant coaches. They know how to think at their squad. They know how to take care of this kind of game. Of course, two German coaches facing each other. A lot of similarity between both of them. They know each other very well. A lot of respect, between each other very well. So it's a very massive game as far as we are concerned. And the Sports Center will always be here to give you in-depth analysis in this kind of games. We'll come back on Wednesday when Harrison will take us a midweek sports review to analyze and review how it goes in this game. Thank you, Raf, for being behind the camera as well. Sports Central, EzeSportsTV. Bye-bye now.